What is climate change? A really simple guide. World temperatures are rising because of human activity, and climate change now threatens every aspect of human life. Left unchecked, humans and nature will experience catastrophic warming, with worsening droughts, greater sea level rise, and mass extinction of species. We face a huge challenge, but there are potential solutions. What is climate change? Climate is the average weather in a place over many years. Climate change is a shift in those average conditions. The rapid climate change we are now seeing is caused by humans using oil, gas, and coal for their homes, factories, and transport. When these fossil fuels burn, they release greenhouse gases, mostly carbon dioxide (CO2). These gases trap the sun's heat and cause the planet's temperature to rise. The world is now about 1.2 Celsius warmer than it was in the 19th century, and the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere has risen by 50%. The world is getting warmer, and will mean land and ocean temperature above or below average 1850 to 2020. Temperature rises must slow down if we want to avoid the worst consequences of climate change. Scientists say global warming needs to be kept to 1.5 Celsius by 2100. However, unless further action is taken, the planet could still warm by more than 2 Celsius by the end of this century. If nothing is done, scientists think global warming could exceed 4 Celsius, leading to devastating heat waves, millions losing their homes to rising sea levels, and irreversible loss of plant and animal species. What is the impact of climate change? Extreme weather events are already more intense, threatening lives and livelihoods. With further warming, some regions could become uninhabitable as farmland turns into desert. In other regions, the opposite the opposite is happening, with extreme rainfall causing historic flooding, as seen recently in China, Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. People in poorer countries will suffer the most as they do not have the money to adapt to climate change. Many farms in developing countries already have to endure climate that are too hot, and this will only get worse. How the world could get warmer? Projected annual average temperature change relative to 1850 to 109,000 at different levels of global warming. Our oceans and its habitats are also under threat. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia, for example, has already lost half of its coral since 1995 due to warmer seas driven by climate change. Wildfires are becoming more frequent, as climate change increases the risk of hot, dry weather, and as frozen ground melts in places like Siberia. Greenhouse gases trapped for centuries will be released into the atmosphere, worsening climate change. In a warmer world, animals will find it harder to find the food and water they need to live. For example, polar bears could die out as the ice they rely on melts away, and elephants will struggle to find the 150 to 300 liters of water a day they need. Scientists believe at least 550 species could be lost this century if action is not taken. How will different parts of the world be affected? Climate change has different effects in different areas of the world. Some places will warm more than others. Some will receive more rainfall and others will face more droughts. If temperature rise cannot be kept within 1.5 Celsius. First, the UK, the UK and Europe will be vulnerable to flooding caused by extreme rainfall. Second, countries in the Middle East will experience extreme heat waves and farmland could turn to desert. Third, island nations in the Pacific region could disappear under rising seas. Fourth, many African nations are likely to suffer droughts and food shortages. Fifth, drought conditions are likely in the western US, while other areas will see more intense storms. And finally, Australia is likely to suffer extremes of heat and drought. What are governments doing? Countries agree climate change can only be tackled by working together, and in a landmark agreement in Paris in 2015, they pledged to try to keep global warming to 1.5 Celsius. The UK is hosting a summit for world leaders called COP26 in November, where countries will set out their carbon reduction plans for 2030. Many countries have pledged to get to net zero by 2050. This means reducing greenhouse gas emissions as much as possible and balancing out remaining emissions by absorbing an equivalent amount from the atmosphere. Experts agree that this is achievable, but it will require governments, businesses, and individuals to make big change. What can individuals do? Major change need to come from government and businesses, but scientists say some small change in our lives can limit our impact on the climate. First, take fewer flights. Second, live car-free or use an electric car. Third, buy energy-efficient products such as washing machines when they need replacing. Fourth, switch from a gas heating system to an electric heat pump and insulate your home. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.